Welcome, and here we are, Publisher Spotlight, bringing up the rear of this wonderful joint publisher book buzz. So these are some of the publishers I'll be including in my presentation, and let's get started, shall we? All right. So first up, we have Gecko Press with Migrants from Isa Watanabe. Isa was born in Peru, and this is just a beautiful wordless picture book about the immigration experience. So you see these creatures in this leafless forest that they're forced to leave. And there are just things they have to decide whether they're going to leave them behind or take with them. There's tragedy along the way, beautifully evocative story that is absolutely gorgeous. These illustrations are just to die for. Oops, that may have been unfortunate saying that right at that moment, but there are consequences when people have to leave suddenly. So this is Migrants from Gecko Press, and as Kirkus Review said, a raw, startling portrait of migration. So you're going to detect that this is kind of a theme that we have going on with several of these books. This is from Talam, The Paper Boat, a refugee story from Owl Kids. This has been on so many best of the year lists. It's just kind of almost embarrassing. But congratulations to everybody, because this is another refugee story, but this one is very much based in a personal story of the author's family. A wordless graphic novel. And his mother, her mother said something about when she was a child about how they would capture the ants, and then there was kind of a recognition of the fact that people move sort of like ants, and there are some similarities there. So that became the metaphor for exploring this refugee story. And the art is just stunning and beautiful, and there's so much to engage with here. And, you know, I could see this being an amazing word prompt, much like Migrants before it. So this is... And of course, great back matter. Don't know about you, but I love back matter. And this is just a really powerful book. So I hope you'll check it out. Next up, we have another story that is a graphic nonfiction story. This is the story of Irena Sendler, who was, in many cases, she's compared to Schindler. She saved just countless children. And this is a 3-volume graphic nonfiction series published by Magnetic Press and offered up by Diamond. So these are stunningly beautiful, but also just gut-wrenching and real. These stories are real. So if you're looking for some good, strong nonfiction about the Holocaust experience, then this is a great place to start. So here we have book 1, Wartime Ghetto, book 2, Children of the Ghetto, and book 3, Life After the Ghetto. So this is her later life, and it's structured much in a similar way to the trilogy of March, in the sense that the last book is sort of a encapsulation of all the accomplishments of this incredible woman in her later years. So check out Irena. Maurice and His Dictionary is also from Owl Kids, and this is a true story. Again, another refugee story. So this is based on Carrie Fagan's own experience as when he was a child in Belgium, and then having to leave when the Nazi occupation happened, and the suddenness of that journey, being put into an internment camp in Jamaica. I never knew this part of history. It was so illuminating. Powerful, just gripping story, and it just kind of underscores, again, a different kind of refugee experience, because they are not the same. They are all very different, but they still are, perilous journeys, desperate journeys from people. So there you go. And the dictionary, very, very important tool. I know that English teachers like the dictionary. So there we go. And fantastic back matter, because we always love good back matter, right? Next up, also from Erdmann's, we have Mexique, refugee story from the Spanish Civil War. Another little-known period of history, something that we don't talk about a lot here in this country. But during the Spanish Civil War, several children were sent away. 456 children were sent away from Spain to wait out the Civil War, and they thought it was going to be a short thing. Well, it turned out that Franco was there for 40 years. So this is the story of those children, and it's, again, powerful, gripping, beautifully illustrated. And if you're going to have a unit on the refugee experience, this is one that you should certainly include. In fact, all of these would just make an amazing, amazing contrast compare. So there you go, great back matter. Gotta love the back matter. And this is a book that I'm teasing you with that is not out yet. This is coming up in May, and this is called Escape, One Day We Had to Run from Lantana Press. And I had to include it because it fit in so beautifully with these other stories. And what it does, it's true stories of different refugee experiences from all over the world. And they take one verb, and then they tell the story of one person with that verb as sort of the anchor of the story. So it's just powerful and what a great writing prompt this would be, right? So, and it does include stories from all over the world. So we got Syria there. Here we have the U.S.-Mexico border. Here's Eritrea. And these are just a few of the stories. And you can see all the different places they're set. I'm a sucker for a map in a book. And this is Escape. One Day We Had to Run by Ming and Hua. Ming and Hua are twins, and one of them lives in the U.S., one lives in Hong Kong. And this is a story that they were very familiar with. And Carmen Vela is also an illustrator who is based here in the U.S. now. Manga Classics. If you have to come out with one verb for Frankenstein, which one would you choose? Feel free to put it in comments if there's a place to comment on this. So this is from the Manga Classics. You know these books. They're wonderful. This preserves a lot of the original language, the dialogue of the novel from Mary Shelley, and the drama is certainly really heightened here, just gorgeously illustrated and exciting. So, and also, just here's a real sneak peek, is that we have Othello coming out in the spring. So, full text of the Shakespeare play, pretty amazing. There you go. Let's move on to some picture book nonfiction. This is Charuco, and I love this, that it's bilingual and the Spanish is giving precedence. So he is a Peruvian archaeologist, an indigenous person, so, and he really made his mark in showcasing ancient civilizations, so the indigenous ancient civilizations of Peru. Just an amazing story, and beautifully, beautifully told, and yeah. And so many great reviews, including this one right here from Booklist. Vibrant illustrations and a detailed bilingual text come together to tell the inspiring story of Julio Citala. So, very, very cool. And bilingual from Lee and Low Books. And, you know, they're the kings of the multicultural books. They just know what they're doing when they publish books that reach diverse audiences and showcase books for everyone. Black Heroes of the Wild West. This is from Toon Books. By the way, this is a review copy. You can probably tell that. This is by James Otis Smith, and he both wrote and illustrated this. So he's a graphic novel artist, and Kadir Nelson did the actual introduction for this, but this takes 3 heroes from the Wild West period and tells their stories in a graphic nonfiction format, impeccably researched. Just so much really good, solid information here. And these are people that are just inspiring, strong, and powerful, and fantastic back matter. Always got to have that. So perfect from Toon Books. Next up we have She Was the First. This is from Lee and Low. And The Trailblazing Life of Shirley Chisholm. She's the first person I remember running for president. I was a small child, obviously. And I was just really thinking, okay, she could be president. She didn't win, but that's okay. She made it possible for others to come later. So that is a wonderful story. She was an activist, an educator, and of course a politician. This is just goes into her life and how her journey to when she did that really historic run for the presidency, and how many glass ceilings she shattered on her way. So I'm sure Kamala Harris is grateful to her. And fantastic back matter. We should have a drinking game. Every time I say that, you can take a drink. Next up on the nonfiction front, Britannica All New Kids Encyclopedia. This is awesome. 400 and I think 56 pages of content, and this is the return of Britannica books to print publishing. Gorgeous, and it's edited by Christopher Lloyd. If you don't know Christopher Lloyd, then you have a chance to meet him tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern Time, where he will lead us on a quiz based on this book. But it's organized in 8 different categories and gorgeously illustrated, both with illustrations and photography. Don't want to wake up to this guy. And you can join the quiz with Christopher Lloyd, who is not the actor, but this one's British. I've heard him described as a British Bill Nye the Science Guy. So that gives you a great idea. And you can win a copy of the encyclopedia for yourself. So much fun. I hope you'll join us for that. And there we go. The 8 categories include the universe, earth, matter, life, humans, ancient and medieval times, modern times, and today and tomorrow. So there you have it. 424 pages. I was close. Literally is from What on Earth Books. And these are the people who did those great timelines. You may remember those. And they also are the co-publishers of that Britannica books I just showed you. So etymology, fascinating topic, right? Sometimes a little out of reach for kids, but this book makes it in reach. And it takes a word, breaks it down for the kids, gives them an illustration that provides clues. Like companion, you can see all the bread. Well, compan It's because that's somebody you break bread with. Who knew? You probably did. Zero, Guru, fascinating, fascinating books. I hope that they do some more because I just think these are fantastic. So it showcases the global diversity hidden in the English language. Leave a Message in the Sand. It's a wonderful poetry volume, and it's poems about giraffes, bongos, and other creatures with hooves. So who knew that the hooves were just so fascinating? Because they are. I love the illustrations by Annemarie van Haringen. She is a Dutch illustrator, and she's won so many major awards. But you can see there's a lot of whimsy here, and also really good nonfiction information, as well as a subtle environmental message and a message of conservation. And that information is given in the back matter as well. Fantastic back matter. Take a swig. So there you go. Oh, the warthog. You got to include a picture of a warthog whenever you can, right? A fitting tribute to Earth's unusual creatures, says School Library Journal. And from Amazon Crossing Kids, we have Some Days. This is a book that originated in Argentina and translated by Lawrence Schimmel. If there was a rock star in the translation world, he is probably it. But this is a story about a girl and her mother, and there's a sense of loss there. They're having a conversation. She thinks about this mysterious passageway that can take them to a place that they can be warm and remember and just grieve and grow. Just lovely. And I love the fact that it wasn't over-translated. Sometimes we can put in more words than are needed. And I love that the spare quality of the original book is preserved here, and it's just gorgeous and just contemplative. Yes, that's a great word for it. Contemplative story of imagination and loss. And got some star reviews too. Calvin Gets the Last Word. It has to be the last book, right? Because, you know, it's right there in the title. This is from Tilbury House by Margot Sorensen and Mike Dees. And this is about a kid who just loves his dictionary. So that's another theme of this presentation. So Calvin loves his dictionary, and he takes it everywhere, and he's trying to find the right word for his really annoying older brother. So it's a sibling story. It's also a story about school and family, and also just about the love of the dictionary. And it's narrated by the dictionary. So that's cool. Here he is on the bus trying to figure out what is the right word for this. Do you think mayhem might be the right word for that experience? Yes, it is. He gets home and he finds out the right word to describe his brother's family. So there you go. And what's a good word to describe you all? I think grateful is the word to describe you. Thank you so much for taking time to come to our joint publisher session. Follow us at Publisher Spotlight. If you'd like a spreadsheet of all these titles and a Pinterest board to see the covers, just look at that QR code and email me at Ellen@PublisherSpotlight if you have any questions. Again, thank you for visiting and watching all of our presentations, and we appreciate you and what you do. Carry on.